Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown podcast. Before I bring on Spurs guard Brandon Paul, I wanted to take a few moments to discuss some important things. First, I've launched a brand new culture and politics podcast called Can You Hear Me Shaking My Head? I know some of you may want to avoid hearing any political talk at all, but I've been bringing on writers of hit TV shows as well to talk about their process, and the discussions have been really cool. Episode 1 was with Ben Wexler, who's written on such critically acclaimed shows as Arrested Development and Community, and was the showrunner on The Comedians, starring Billy Crystal and Josh Gad. He shared one of his favorite moments from that show with me.
My favorite line from that episode is, and this was something I'm proud to say that I did right. They're sitting on the floor and they're eating huge tubs of ice cream, and Josh just looks at Billy, and they haven't had a very good relationship to this point in the show, and he says, they're super high, and Josh just goes, I'm scared of you, and Billy goes, yeah, I get that, and then they just break up laughing. It was just, it was just so great, and it played exactly how I hoped it would, and it was, that was a really fun episode. People seemed to like that one a lot.
Episode 2 was with Jared Yates Sexton, author of a fantastic book about covering the Trump campaign called The People Are Going to Rise Like the Waters Upon Your Shore. And we got into a fascinating discussion of how the Trump mindset evolved into what it is today.
And so what we're looking at is a group of people who unfortunately have been in this bubble or behind this wall for a lot longer than I think we'd like to admit. And we're just now seeing the real consequences of that.
Today's episode was with The Daily Show's Ronnie Chang, a guy who I've known since the early days of B-Ball Breakdown, when he'd call into my primitive live shows back in 2011. We had a great talk about his experiences as a stand-up and a correspondent on The Daily Show. Plus, we dove into the recent sexual harassment epidemic that is currently plaguing so many famous people right now. How about this? You know, you've done these shows and they're well crafted and they're written and they're ready to go. Have you ever bombed a joke when you're on stage?
Yeah, I bomb all the time, but I don't bomb. I've never bombed so hard I sexually harass someone. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like this idea that I don't buy it. You know, I think that and look, man, I'm a guy. I get the kind of surface level concern that people are like, they're coming for everybody now. We can't say anything, but I don't buy it. I can't buy that because I know plenty of dudes who don't. We know most people I think don't sexually harass. So if you're worried about it, then maybe you shouldn't be, trying to flirt in an office environment. Then maybe just fucking don't. Maybe try to be just try to be a good person. Try to be friends first. I don't know what look. There's no black and white answer here, but I cannot accept the answer that now we can't do anything because everything is sexual harassment. Like there's things you can do. Don't do it. Just don't be that guy who's trying to pick up in the office.
And next week, I bring in Alex Barnow, the showrunner for the hilarious hit comedy The Goldbergs, and we discuss his career, how he got there, and how things have to fall in place just right to make a hit show.
Somebody came to us, a producer came to us and said, I have Matthew Perry. He's ready to go back to TV. Do you want to do a show with him? And yeah, because like anything else, like it's star driven. Like anything else, like you get very few of these opportunities to get shows on TV, and you want to work with people that can get you, on the network schedule.
I'd really appreciate it if you popped your head over to the podcast and gave it a listen. Again, it's called Can You Hear Me Shaking My Head? And it's definitely a different version of me you haven't heard, and I think you'll find it equally entertaining and insightful. I also want to take a minute to discuss something that's been bugging me all weekend. I imagine most of you have had a chance to see the footage of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of the Lakers getting into a minor skirmish with Suns guard Tyler Ulis. And what you also would have seen was Lonzo Ball looking in their direction and then continuing to walk to the bench for the timeout, instead of rushing into his teammates' defense. A lot of people wanted to criticize him for not having his teammates back and not being a leader. But I also think that guys rushing into a skirmish can quickly escalate things needlessly. And we've seen instances where players can get hurt that way, or at the very least, earn their team a technical foul. I do think the player's attitude towards their teammate would directly inform how they feel about someone walking away like that. Head coach Luke Walton was asked about exactly that, and here's what he said.
Yeah, in which I don't really care about how that looks, because our guys love Zoe. He's the type of rookie, he's one of the few rookies I've ever seen that everybody just is kind of drawn towards him. Vets, everyone really wants him to succeed. They all love playing with his group, whether it's practice or the game. So I think they all know that what that looked like isn't what Zoe is about, and isn't symbolizing what his feelings are on that type of situation. So I know the general public in the internet world likes to do what they do, but it didn't really affect our team at all, because they know who Zoe is and they know what he's about.
Fights in today's NBA aren't much of a thing at all. The league has done a good job cracking down on it, to the point where no one is willing to risk the severe penalties that exist to get into a fight. And it seems clear that Lonzo is a team-first, share-the-ball kind of player that everyone would love playing with, so he's earned some leeway here. I don't really like the notion of being a tough guy, especially if it's not in your nature, and the fake tough guy is something even worse. I think much of the hate towards Lonzo is generated because of his dad, which is really too bad. And Lonzo's struggles has seemed to stir a lot of people up, almost happy to see him perform poorly and already wanting to label him a bust. I was glad to see him notch his second triple-double of the season last night, and I think it's just a matter of time until he consistently plays with confidence and teaches his body what he needs to do to score better, simply by getting more and more minutes and experience. The guy is only 20 years old. He's got plenty of time. And I've already seen plenty of flashes on both ends of the floor to indicate to me that he's something special. If you don't agree or want to discuss further, don't hesitate to jump onto Twitter and mention me. After all, as you well know, B-Ball Breakdown isn't a channel, it's a conversation. You in? How did Brandon Paul make it to the NBA as a 26-year-old rookie? What did he learn along the way that kept him on that path? Did his time in Europe help him improve to get to the next level? The only question left is, say it with me, you in? Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown podcast. Today I'm pleased to bring on the show Brandon Paul of the San Antonio Spurs to talk a little bit about his career and how he was able to get to San Antonio. So Brandon, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, glad to have you. Glad to be able to watch you doing what you're doing on the court this year. And, it's an interesting journey you've had because, as a rookie, I'll see, you're a 26-year-old rookie. And so that means that there must be some stories between when you graduated and when you didn't. My first question, I think, to you is, you played 4 years at Illinois. Do you feel like simply playing 4 years at a D1 college is a stigma that kind of makes NBA teams not want to draft you just because of that?
You know what? I'm not sure if I can answer that accurately, but I definitely think the NBA loves new and younger talent, and that kind of makes guys want to skip the college process a bit. But that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I enjoyed all 4 years of college. If I can go back, I wouldn't change a thing. I made a lot of different relationships and friendships that I keep to this day, and obviously on the court, I was able to accomplish a lot of different things.
Would you say you're the same player skill-wise from the time you graduated college till now, or are you significantly better?
Absolutely not. I think I'm a lot better, not only from a physical aspect, but from a mental aspect. And my maturity level has definitely increased since my college days, and my basketball IQ continues to increase each day that I play with this organization. So, going from, a kid coming in from north suburb of Chicago, playing Big Ten basketball, now being a member of the San Antonio Spurs, I would say it's a lot better and a lot different.
Ooh, well, it's great. I'm from Chicago as well. I went to Wisconsin. I hope you don't hold that against me, but certainly Big Ten, we got that going. So that's good stuff. let me ask you this. How easy was it for you to pick up the Spurs offense?
I wouldn't say it was easy, but at the same time, it's not, rocket science. It's pretty simple things that Coach Pop and the staff try to instill in you. And as long as you listen and you buy in, you're going to give yourself a chance. And you continue to learn each game. And it gets simpler and simpler. And the more film you watch, the more breakdown you do, it'll slow things down for you, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful.
Sure. Now, when they were teaching this stuff, do they break it down into parts where they show you like a little bit like that 2 or 3 man part of the offense, or are they just doing 5-on-0 and just throwing you out there?
It really depends on how far we are. Maybe early on, like training camp, they do a little bit more teaching, but as the season progresses, you don't have as much time and as much practice time availability with all the games to kind of break down individually. So you got to make sure you're locked in, you're focused in, and you just ask questions if you're ever confused. We have a lot of vets, and they do a good job of making sure we're on the same page.
And another way to make sure your face and your razor are on the same page is by using Harry's razors. Harry's was founded by 2 guys named Andy and Jeff. And I know what you're thinking. Why the heck did they name the company Harry's? Well, then I realized, what are you doing when you shave? You're making yourself less hairy. Get it? Jeff and Andy liked me so much, they decided to give everyone here their free trial kit if you visit harrys.com/Coach Nick. It comes with a cover, rich lathering shave gel, 5 precision-engineered blades with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, and an awesome handle that is weighted and ergonomically designed. I, too, use Harry's razors, and I can't decide if my favorite part is how the handle feels in my hand or how their shaving gel soothes my skin. It's by far the best razor I've ever used. So head over to harrys.com/Coach Nick now, and your face will be as smooth as Brandon Paul's elite 3-point shooting. And so do you end up having like a special relationship with one of the assistants who like ends up working with you more than others, or does it kind of by committee for them?
A lot of guys take other guys under their wings. I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of different coaches kind of bring me in and just help me throughout the process. And, I really just try to focus on making sure I'm on the same page as them so that when I go in the game, I don't make, little mistakes that's going to make Pop, lose any type of trust in me. So, just making sure that I watch, that I'm coachable. Those are things that keep me on the floor.
Now, before the season started, did you already have a sense that you were going to get, 14, 15 minutes a game or more from the beginning?
Not at all. I was obviously ready to play 5 minutes to 25 minutes, whatever, I was given. And I think the staff knows that I'll be ready whenever my number's called. And that's part of why they have so much trust in me right now. And, there's things that I still got to learn out there. There's things that I got to get better with. And it's a learning process, but I'm enjoying it right now.
So, like before the season started, the day before, whatever, they didn't come to you and say, "Oh, we're going to put you in this slot here that Patty Mills used to play in," or whatever. That wasn't clear, like wasn't said to you.
No, not at all. I don't think a lot of that's going to happen. Especially now with this organization, you just kind of you got to be ready whenever your number's called. There's injuries. It's a long season. Yeah. And as long as you're focused and locked in, you're going to be ready when your number's called.
Sure. Have you yet to feel the wrath of Coach Popovich yet in a game?
Yeah, he's definitely got after me a couple of times, and it's definitely well warranted. So, you just got to take those as learning moments, and understand what he's yelling at you about, so you can make sure you can correct it. And a big thing about that is he doesn't like repeated mess ups. So you just want to make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes.
Now, I have to imagine, he's part of the Positive Coaching Alliance to some degree, and I feel like, where does he rank as far as, how vociferous he is at yelling at you compared to, like, other coaches you've had in the past?
Well, I came from Europe, so I'm used to being yelled at every single play, regardless of whether it was my fault or not. So I think Coach Pop is great. I think the staff is great. I've been getting cussed out since I was in high school, so I don't mind it at all. But it's definitely a lot less at this level. I think you're treated more as a professional and as an adult more than, things that I've seen as far as playing in Europe.
That's interesting. So you feel like the European coaches are a lot more like yellers and screamers?
Yeah, for sure. And if you watch, different games and different coaching styles, not every coach overseas is the same, but a lot of them are kind of, that's just, I guess that's what they know. So, you can't really say too much about it. You just kind of take it in stride.
Right. I mean, I think you would agree, and because I used to sort of be that way too at my level. But I feel like in order to get the best out of your players, or in order for you to play your best, you should be in a positive frame of mind. Doesn't that seem to make sense to everybody?
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, you got to be coachable. You got to be an adult about it. Some guys, depending on whether you're in high school and college, some coaches know that they can coach certain guys certain ways and, other guys in a different way. But when you get to this level, you kind of just gotta be a professional. If you get cussed out, you get cussed out. If someone comes to talk to you on the side, they're trying to get you better. I don't think any coaches is out here trying to embarrass anybody. So you kind of just gotta be adult at this point.
Well, you're shooting about 44% from three this year, and it's as high as you've had in any of your pro career up until now. Is there any kind of explanation as to why you're just stroking it so well now?
No, I kind of do the same thing. I make sure I stay in the gym, get extra shots up, and I think my shot selection has continued to improve ever since my college career. I think my college career was a little bit more. I had a little bit more of the green light, but at the same time, I could have done a better job choosing my shots. And now with this system, I know that I don't have to go in and be a home run guy every time. I just got to be able to guard and make the open shot.
So when you're training and you're getting your extra shots, in my idea of what the Spurs system is that they know ahead of time exactly the shots that you're going to get in the offense, and that's what you're going to work on. Does it feel that structured to you, where you're not just going to go in the gym and for an hour and just kind of shoot a bunch of threes? You know exactly which ones you need to work on?
Yeah, I think so. They do a great job of making sure that they tailor the workouts towards your game and what your role to the team is. Obviously they're not going to have me out there doing jump hooks with Power, LaMarcus, or anything like that. But, they definitely do a good job making sure guys know their roles. And it's also, our job to go in on our own time and get our own shots up as well.
Well, did you ever post up? That's not a bad idea, a jump hook every now and then, maybe a smaller defender. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do post up drills in the summer with my trainer and my guys back home. And obviously, if there's a situation where I need to post up, I think I'll be, ready for it. But at this point in my career, I'm not sure if Pop's going to call a play for me to put me on the block.
Right. Okay. Well, you never know. So glad that you're ready. In 2013, you didn't get drafted, but you played in the summer league. Did that for the Timberwolves. Did it feel like that was a legitimate tryout to make the team, or were you simply just trying to showcase for Europe? What was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't get much time in that time. I think I played maybe 6 or 7 minutes a game, so I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted. But at the same time, in those 6 or 7 minutes, I made sure I brought it every minute, and I think that helped me land my first gig in Russia, which was a pretty nice pay for a rookie coming out of college. But, I tried to take every summer league for what it was worth.
And I like to buy all of my flowers for what they're worth. And there's no better deal out there than going to proflowers.com. Believe it or not, I'm obsessed with horticulture, and I love when the vivid colors of a floral arrangement light up my dining room. I couldn't get over how long my bouquet from ProFlowers stayed fresh, and they're guaranteed to last for at least 7 days. You still have plenty of time for your Thanksgiving flower needs, and they've got amazing deals on all sorts of Turkey Day related arrangements. And you can't lose, since you'll get 20% off any order of $29 or more by using my code BBALL at checkout. ProFlowers gives you more bloom for your buck. See what I did there? Big, beautiful flowers, more stems for your money, and long-lasting freshness. So click on proflowers.com, get some mums or a harvest centerpiece for the table, and use my code BBALL to save 20% off your order of $29 or more. You went to Russia and you played there for 1 year in Russia?
I was out there for 6 months before I returned.
Okay, so walk us through that. So you did 6 months. Did you play well there?
I didn't play as much as I wanted to out there. It wasn't the best situation for me. I don't think that I was being utilized as much as I could have been out there. So I ended up getting myself out of that situation, and that's when I returned to the D League for the first time.
So the D League, when you played for the D League, did you feel, was that like a depressing thing, or was that like, I'm keeping my mind down, my head down, I'm going to keep working, I'm going to get where I want to go?
Yeah, it was definitely just another opportunity. Unfortunately, it was cut short after 2 games because I had got injured. But coming back and getting injured in the summer, it kind of ruined my chances for Summer League that summer. And I returned to the D League, and being with the Canton Charge, with the Cavaliers D League affiliate team, I felt I had a great opportunity. I had a really good year. I had coaches that were really a part of the development process, and I definitely think I learned and I got a lot better in that.
That is good to hear. And then you went back to Europe though, and you played. Certainly, you played a whole season in ACB. Looking at that, so which team were you playing there?
I was with a team called Juventud Badalona, which is now a different name, but team based out of Badalona, which is about 8 minutes outside of Barcelona. They're in the Spanish league. We play all the top teams in the Spanish league. It's a great league. It's a tough league to get into. And, I had a great time there. I had great teammates. I had a great staff, and I made a lot of friends out there.
So what level, if you had to compare that to here, is it? I don't think it's on the NBA level. Is it like a really good D1 or better than D1, or where does that rank?
Yeah, I mean, ACB league, as far as domestic leagues in Europe, I would say it's a top 2, top 3 league for sure. You got the Spanish league, you got the Russian league, the Turkish league, Italian league, German league. Those are probably the top 5. You could throw maybe CBA in the top 10 because, they obviously bring a lot of good talent over there.
Wow. Well, as we wrap this up, I'm just kind of curious what your goals are for this season. Do you have any tangible, like, even like box score numbers that you have goals for?
Yeah, I want to lead the team in offensive fouls drawn, whether that's charges taken, illegal screen. Like I like to fight over screens. I like to use my toughness to fight over screens. I get a lot of illegal screens drawn because the defender doesn't have a choice, or the offensive player doesn't have a choice but to move to try to clip me. So I want to do as much as I can on the defensive end to give us the most additional offensive possessions.
Okay, hey, the great answer, and I'd love to hear it. I don't know if I heard that answer, from anybody else I've talked to. Do you work on your defense when you're with your trainer over the summer too, or are you just doing offense?
Honestly, it's a lot of skill work and development, but I work out with a lot of tough guys, and when we get to 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, all the way to 5-on-5, that's always a chance to work on your offense because you're playing against other pros, you're playing against guys that are also veterans in the game. So it definitely gives me a chance to work on that as well.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today and sharing with us. Looking forward to keeping up with you too, and maybe you'll stop by again later in the year.
Yes, sir. I'd be glad to come back. I appreciate you guys having me on.
You got it. Thanks so much for coming on. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Brandon?
I'm all in, man.